everyone, welcome back. We are at the ranch today, so things might look a little bit different, but no matter, I am still very excited to be filming today. I want to try a bridal eye look. I've got some pictures saved on my Pinterest board and I want to just give it a try. I am getting married in August, but this trial run is actually not for me. I have actually hired a professional makeup artist to do my makeup for my wedding day, but I am actually going to be doing a friend's makeup in September. So I just want to try to get a little more experience under my belt and see where that goes. But I want to try to do a look that I have saved on my Pinterest board, and maybe she has something similar, but regardless of what she wants, we'll make it work, and I just want to try to do this look. So before we get started, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button. It would mean so much to me, and we'll get going. So this is kind of the look that I'm going for. It's definitely got like a smokier liner look, but very elegant, and it's got a little bit of shimmer in there. So this is what I'm kind of going for, and hopefully I can pull it off with the makeup that I brought to the ranch with me. So because it does have like a wing type of look, I'm actually going to do my eyes first because wings are really hard for me, but they're very easy to clean up if I mess up. So I'm going to start with some eye primer. I'm just going to be using my Urban Decay. So to start, I'm going to go into my Patrick Ta Major Dimension palette. This is the first one, so it's very neutral. I'm going to go into this shade here. And this picture doesn't look like there's a whole lot of definition towards the inner part of the eye, so I think I'm just going to try to keep this shade on the like outer third and go about halfway in, like around my crease area. This look does have a little bit of warmth to it as well, so I'm just going to go into this shade next to this transition shade. It looks a little bit deeper on camera, but it's actually not too deep, but it's got a very good warmth to it. I apologize for the lighting. I do have a ring light on, but I'm also in front of a giant window, so as the sun shifts, the lighting may shift a little bit. And I'm going to pack this more warmer tone from the lid up into that transition shade, because it looks like she's got it going all the way down. And then I'm just holding my brush towards the end of the brush because it makes it a lot less pressure. Like you're not putting so much pressure on the brush, so it's just a lighter blend. So now I'm going to try the eyeliner part. I'm going to be using my Makeup by Mario Master Pigment Pro pencil. This is in the shade The Perfect Brown. And I'm going to be taking it on kind of a rounded, skinny brush. I did not bring a pencil sharpener. Well, let's hope this sticks out long enough for me to make this work. So I'm just kind of taking it on the brush here. And because I have hooded eyes, I'm going to try to be looking straight into my mirror. That way I can really see where it's going to hit over the fold. This is really hard because there's so little sticking out, and I forgot a pencil sharpener. So I'm just going to go into the darkest shade of this palette and just do it with shadow instead of an eyeliner pencil. That worked out. But you can tell there's like a little gap of like in my crease. That's because that's where my eye folds. But when I look straight on, you don't see that. Now I'm going to go back into this shade and just kind of soften the wings a little bit. So now I'm going to go into this shade. It's very cream, but it does have a little bit of a sparkle to it. And I'm going to set the inside half of my lid and crease area with this shade. And now we're going to be using this shade. It's just like a very light topper shade, but I think it'll give the shine that this eye look has. So I'm going to use my finger to apply, and the shimmer kind of stops right about where the darker shades meet up, so that's about as far as I'm going to take it. I'm going to go back into the shade I was using to build the eyeliner, and I'm just going to put it super close to my lash line and connect it to that eyeliner. This just helps the lashes look a little bit fuller, and obviously this picture she's got false lashes on, which I won't be doing, mostly because I didn't bring any with me. Secondly, because they're very hard for me to do. But this part I can do. Okay, and that's basically the look. The eyes anyways. All right, I'm looking a little crazy and I don't have a lot of confidence in this look, so let's put the rest of the face on and hopefully it will all come together. So I'm gonna go in with my Tarte Smoothing Primer. So I just placed that on my chin, my forehead, on my nose a little bit, and then definitely on the sides of my nose where most of my pores are. Currently, I have 2 foundations that I would trust enough to wear on my wedding day, and I only brought one with me because it is literally my favorite for the past 2022. I think it released at the very end of 2021, so 2022. And it is the Bounce Skin Tint from Beauty Blender. And then the other one that I trust enough to wear on my wedding day is the Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation from Too Faced. But I'm pretty sure they discontinued it, and the shade that I have is much too dark for me. So unless I'm super tan on my wedding day, I don't think I'll be wearing that one. But I really enjoy this one because it is so lightweight, it's so smoothing, and it is definitely medium buildable coverage. So it will definitely cover the rosiness in my cheeks and on my nose. And then I'm gonna pick up what's left on my hand with my damp sponge and just press everything in. This just helps get any brush strokes out or any extra product that doesn't need to be on the face. But I just feel so beautiful whenever I wear this foundation. And then, I mean, obviously, once I move on to concealer, you know, I'm going to be using my Jouer High Coverage Essential Concealer, and you know I'm definitely going to be setting it with my Givenchy Prisme Libre setting powder. This is by far, like, the best setting powder I have ever tried, and it is beautiful. I'm loving it, but I'm also, like, trying to use it sparingly, so I have it for my wedding day because she's pricey. But I'm actually almost out of this concealer again. This will be the second full tube of this that I've gone through. And then this is also how I'll clean up the edge in this eye look. Because I take my little Rare Beauty concealer brush and I'll just be able to sharpen it up a little bit. And then I am going to be using my sponge to help blend it just a little bit more, like I normally would. And then using some of the Givenchy powder. And then the important part is when you're setting your concealer is to make sure you go in right away with your powder afterwards. Like, don't get your concealer time to crease. And then I just like to spend a little extra time here to really make sure that powder gets in there to set it. Then you're left with a flawless concealer powdered under eye. So I caught this eye up to speed, and now I'm just gonna be adding a little to my nose and to my forehead, and just a touch on the chin. We'll brighten up some more spots. I mean, it's a wedding makeup, so you should feel and look as good as you want. The next part of this routine is more based on skin type. So because I have a more oily complexion, I am going to set the rest of my face. But if you have more normal to dry skin, let me rephrase that. If you have more balanced to drier skin, then I would suggest going in with some more cream products. But again, totally up to you. I'm gonna set the rest of my face, and I'm still gonna be using my Givenchy powder. And even though this is a loose powder and very finely milled, you can still use it to set your entire face. I have been doing this since I have purchased this product, because it sets my face and smooths my face so much that I've grown very addicted to the look that it gives, because I love the finish that it gives. So if you're doing your own makeup and you're like, well, it's a loose powder and most people use a pressed powder to set their face, you can do it either way. It's just your preference. Obviously, I would definitely practice both ways before the big day. That way you really do know which way you like better. And now that I've set my face, I'm still gonna go in with my damp sponge and press everything in. Again, this will help with picking up any excess product that's just sitting on top of the skin rather than melting into the skin. I do have a little trick up my sleeve though. If you are a more oily combo skin like myself, and you still want to have a little bit of a glow, but you definitely need powder, I would go into the Ambient finishing powders. So I have this little palette, but you can definitely buy these separately. And I like to mix these two shades here. They really don't have a lot of pigment, but they do bring a little bit of radiance back to the skin. So I just apply them on a big fluffy brush and then just add where I want a little extra radiance, which for me would be everywhere. But because it's a powder, it's not gonna be too overbearing or make your oils more emphasized. For bronzer, I'm gonna be going into my Patrick Ta Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo. If I was gonna use the cream contour, I would have done it before powder, but I'm just gonna go into the bronzer shade today. And we're just going to warm up the cheeks a bit. I also like to bronze up my forehead and then connect the bronzer down in my temple area. And then I am gonna do a little under my chin and my jaw and just a smidge on my nose. I'm not a huge nose contouring fan, so I just like to warm it up a little bit with bronzer. But of course we go over everywhere again with a sponge to just make sure it's nicely blended. I'm gonna go in with my favorite highlighter first. This is from the Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette. It's just this very beautiful highlight. And I think it just leaves the most beautiful natural glow just on the high points of the cheek. And then I also like to place it down the center of my nose and kind of on the tip. Some people call it like an exclamation point, which is basically what it is. And then also a little on the Cupid's bow. And then I like to blend it in with a sponge, just like everything else, because it will help kind of get it will help get rid of any demarcation lines. Like this looks a little bit more blended now. Like obviously the highlight is right here, but the edges don't look so harsh. And then for blush, because the beauty world has come so far, you can use cream blushes over powder, which I am trying out more and more because I'm learning if I like cream products. But just in general, most beauty brands are making sure that their blush formulas work beneath powder and also on top of powder. So at this point, you can pick whatever kind of blush formula you like. Cream blush at this point will make your face a little more dewy, whereas the powder blush will keep everything a little bit more matte. Obviously, you can pick like a glowier, shinier blush as powder, but it won't give like a hydrated look. For me, this powder blush from Nars in the shade Orgasm is just one of my favorite go-to blushes. It does have like a golden sheen that runs through it, so even though it's not it's not a cream, it still leaves a beautiful, beautiful glow. And because of my skin type, I feel like this would be the better option for me. And don't worry, for your wedding day, your blush should be a little more intense than you would normally do it. That way it shows up a little bit better in your pictures. But I'm not taking pictures today, so I am gonna just kind of tone it down a little bit. I went a little heavy-handed. But if you ever wonder why in real life on like picture days, your makeup is done a little bit more intensely, it's so it actually pops in your photos. And then I am going to spray my face with my Urban Decay All Nighter just to set everything. I did go ahead and do my brows. I just used both of my normal gels, the Benefit Gimme Brow and the Kosas Air Brow. But I did fill in the tails a little bit more with my Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil, just because I was looking a little sparse in those areas. But let's go ahead and finish up the eyes. I am gonna go back into this shade here, and I'm gonna start it on the outer third and go about halfway. Now I'm gonna go into the darkest shade we were using, and I'm taking a really small brush. I'm just picking a little of that up and placing it on the very outer third and kind of blending it into that wing so it looks very connected. Then I'm taking another kind of more flat brush, and I'm going to place that cream shade that we set the inner portion with, this shade. I'm gonna use that to do the inner portion of the lower lash line. That way we keep the corner of the eye very bright. Then I'll go back into my highlight from Natasha Denona and use that as an inner corner highlight. I know I haven't put mascara on my lower lashes, but let's do the lips first, and then when I take my hair down, I'll do the mascara. So for me, I would go in with a darker brown lip liner. This is from Buxom. This is one of my favorite lip liner formulas, and this is in the shade High Def Honey. Now, because this particular look is definitely a bit more warm tone, I'm going to take a warmer tone peach color. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Bitch Perfect color. Definitely more peachy, but still very, very beautiful. And it will still enhance your lips for photos, so your lips won't look so flat against your makeup. And then you have a very monochromatic type of look. Warm tone eyes, warm tone cheek, warm tone lip. So here's our finished look. I actually really like this look. I think it's very beautiful, very natural. I think the eyes are very warm tone, so if you've got warm wedding colors, this would be really, really pretty. I might tweak it up for my wedding personally, but it was fun to just play with makeup and like practice a little bit of wedding makeup. But if you are getting married anytime soon and you have a wedding inspirational picture that you would like to kind of see created, send it on over my way. I'd be happy to do it for you. Other than that though, this is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Don't forget to ring the bell and hit all on your notifications, and you'll be notified every time I post a video. I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays, 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.